We can leave. Let's step into the general nonsense for this month's episode of Listen to This. Welcome to Listen to This. If you're new here, welcome. Every month, I'll drop a wild news story from all my years working in retail. Names and other identifiers have been changed so that everyone may remain anonymous. All terrible customers will be referred to as Karen. And now, on with the show. Which, we're going with something truly silly this month. No Karens here today. Instead, just a really cute little kid. For context this week, at the General Nonsense, we used to do story time twice a week before the world shut down. You know that thing back in 2020? We're not talking about that. A coworker and I, Sara, did them every week. We each had a story time unless one of us was on vacation. Every week, we had the same day as well. I always did story time on Thursdays, and she did story time on Tuesdays. Except, well, one week I took my vacation. And when I returned to work on the following Monday, I stumbled into one of our regulars who attends my story time on Thursdays. This little one was with his grandmother that day, as he typically is while his parents work during the week. She's the one who brings him every Thursday. I said hello to them, and Charlie, the little boy who was about 2 years old, almost 3 at the time, was overjoyed to see me after missing me on Thursday. Since Sara and I have covered each other's vacations before, we've never really told our regulars that we'll be out for a week. No one ever really cares. But a toddler, well, he doesn't understand it's not going to be forever. He was so excited to see me, he ended up giving me a big hug, and his grandmother asked if I was all right. I kindly explained that I had taken my vacation. And then she says, "I have something to tell you that happened on Thursday." And I thought, what on earth could that be? I mean, it was story time. The worst thing that happens is one of the babies starts crying in the middle of the book, and you wonder if you're so awful at reading that you make babies cry. Usually it's just a soiled diaper, but still, the insecurities linger. But instead, the grandmother goes on to tell me a wonderful story about Thursday. It's heartwarming for me. Maybe not Sara. On Thursday, she and Charlie attended story time like always, sitting in their usual spot, waiting for the story to begin, except Thursday didn't go normally because I was on vacation. So Sara was reading. Sara was covering for me. Sara comes out, and now I've seen her do story time. We do it almost exactly the same way. We're very goofy with the kids, and we act ridiculously silly. However, on this fine day, Sara came out with a book and activity for the kids. She took her place on the stage where we have story time and announced the book for the morning. And Charlie wasn't thrilled with this information. He promptly stands up, pointing at Sara, and decrees loudly for all to hear, "You're not AMAC! We can leave!" And then he turns and he marches out of story time. Yeah, just let that sink in for a long moment. Just absorb it. He just declared that because it wasn't me, he didn't want to hear a story from Sara. He just wanted to go. Confused and flabbergasted, the grandmother was forced to follow him out of the story time, and, he refused to go back in. Ouch. I mean, I was torn, honestly, because that's totally sweet. And going, oh my God, I can't imagine how Sara is feeling. Oh no. I mean, how would you feel if you sat down to do story time and one of the kids just dropped that bomb and left? Just walked out. A toddler with that much opinion on your skills to read a story properly just doesn't even give you the chance. Mind you, Sara had also been working there longer than me, and reading story times long before I ever arrived. It's not like she didn't know what she was doing. Poor Sara. Well, the grandmother and I had a good laugh over that story. And I thought, well, that'll be the end of that. Yeah, I shouldn't say things like that. Because then I worked my next shift with Sara. And we crossed over for the first time since my vacation. And the first thing out of her mouth, after asking me how my vacation was, "You're not going to believe what happened to me on Thursday last week." No, I'm sure I will, Sara. I'm very sure. Sara goes on to relay the same story of Charlie standing up and decreeing that she wasn't AMAC and they could leave, then storming out. Except now I have her point of view after Charlie and his grandmother leave. She said she was frozen in absolute disbelief because, well, that's just never happened before. She didn't even know what to do. Then she told me she honestly thought, for just a moment, the entire group of children at Storytime, who were all about 5 and under, mind you, because this is a school day during the school year, she thought, honestly, for a moment, the entire group was just going to get up and march out of Storytime. Sara honestly thought there would be a rebellion at Storytime from my Thursday regulars because I was not there. And I couldn't get the image of a bunch of children just storming out and demanding I do the story time, or just taking Sara hostage and demanding me as the ransom, like my story time as the ransom. Like, that phone call from my store manager would have been absolutely hilarious to me. I would have been dying. I would have been woken up and told that a bunch of kids have taken Sara hostage and they will only give her back if I do story time for them that morning. Like, oh, it's just such a good image. I'm just picturing my store manager on the phone at the customer service desk with children just chanting in the background, "We want AMAC! We want AMAC! We want AMAC!" Yeah, AMAC, you gotta get in here. They won't give us Sara back. So Sara goes on to tell me that she thought there may be a riot in the store. And safe to say, her ego was a little bit bruised by the entire endeavor. And she was teasingly mad at me for winning over the regulars so much they give her shit when I'm not there. And you know what? It's still one of the funniest things that has ever happened. And so sweet. Like, you know, if Charlie is out there and he ever remembers me, I will never forget him. So Charlie, every time I think of that story, you put a smile on my face, dude. Thank you for that. But poor Sara. Also, it is so much fun to lord this over Sara's head for the rest of our lives. It's just hilarious. But thank you for listening. I will see you next month on Listen to This. So spread the love and listen on.